Lewis.
Hi everyone.
So far that you wanted today, but you're doing a lot better this weekend on a circuit that, as you've admitted, you're not usually that confident on.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's anything to do with confidence. It's just doesn't work out usually here for me. Usually, it's how you set the car up. It's a track where you have to brake in deep and everything was fine, but you have to have the support from when you lean into the corners. You have to have the rear end stability as well as front end mid corner. So it's an interesting balance that you need to get. But Valtteri always goes well here for whatever reason, and so he did a great job today.
Good stuff. Thanks very much for being with us. Obviously, folks are going to have a million and one questions. We've already got some of them in already, so we'll start at the start. You had your fashion launch a couple of weeks ago. How do you manage the two, between fashion and Formula One? Because we don't get that much time off.
No, it's well, I mean, I'm working on it like when I'm on the flight, for example. I'm working on the different projects that I have. So I have my iPad with a pen, and I'm jotting down notes. I'm scribbling on designs, and then a lot of email. So a lot of email traffic. Obviously, I'm never home this year. Probably home less than I've ever been, probably. And just being that I'm basically doing two careers for sure, and usually I'm doing a little bit more on another one, but it's but mostly right now I'm basically I'm doing fashion career and the racing side of things, and it takes a lot of attention to detail. I'm very much about detail, but it's gone well so far.
And how about music? Because no, that's a big
music.
question.
Yeah, music is music. Honestly, has fallen aside. I haven't done any music since December.
And what did you do in December? Were you the secret artist that everybody was talking about on the Aguilera song? Was
I don't know. I can't answer that really.
You so can with that big beaming smile.
I might know the person. I might not know the person. I don't really know.
Well, if it was you, I think it surprised a lot of people, because it was. If it was you, it was good. You can say thank you very much.
No, well, that person. I don't really know what to say, really.
Okay, here's another one. You're going to be the second oldest driver on the grid next year.
Oh no, shit.
The question is, do you feel like a mentor? But I think the bigger question is, do you feel old?
Definitely don't feel old, no. And I have no problems I feel super young, so that's no problem. But I do feel like I've been here a long, long time, and I mean the seasons are getting longer and longer. I wouldn't want to do it again, because it's a long, long slog from karting to Formula One and in Formula One. But I'm really, really enjoying driving right now more than I've ever probably. And naturally, as you get older, you get more settled. The things I know now, it's crazy, because when you're 20 years old or 21, 22 years old, you think you know everything, and you don't really know anything. And you know, with age, just a lot of things come to you, and you're able to balance life and set out your goals, and yeah, it's actually a beautiful thing, growing and learning.
I think that was very evident when you did the letter to my younger self this year. The things you would have told yourself when you'd first come into the sport that you've learned. We were just talking before we came on air. 80 pole positions is your next target.
Yeah.
And then the 5th World Championship, and then where does it stop? Where did the goals stop?
Well, the goals never stop. I think that's an important thing in life. If you're living without a goal and without a purpose, then you might as well throw in a towel and die, basically. You know, as sad as that sounds, but no, you've always got to have goals. You've always got to keep going for it, no matter how long it takes. I think naturally, for all of us, I'm sure all of us, we have a goal and you want it now. Yeah. And some people give up before they get there, and some people think it's taken too long, you know. And I always try to remind people that, I started racing karts when I was 8 years old. I didn't get to Formula One until I was 22. That's a lot of years trying to get to reach your dream. So and even now, new every single year, I set myself goals. I set myself new targets. I set myself new adventures and things that I want to do, and I don't get to do them all, but at least they're on the list. Because if you take one off, you've got something else to back it up. You can move on to the next thing. And this year my goal has been to make sure that naturally that I'm performing better than ever in the racing world, but I also have extra currency to be able to deliver the best clothing range that I can do with Tommy and make sure that it looks great. The show, I was heavily involved in how the show looked, how the show I did the music for the show, for example. I chose it and basically music director, so just getting involved in everything and learning all the time.
Very cool. On that, Jordan Dakin asks, when have you felt the most accomplished?
When have I felt most accomplished? I would say when you win a championship. I guess the last championship that I won. But many times, I guess it depends what you regard as accomplishment. I think taking my family away and going on a holiday and just sitting back and relaxing, I think that's an accomplishment. Knowing that everything you've gone through, waking up every morning and going for a run, that's an accomplishment. Getting up and doing your everyday job, that's an accomplishment. So standing and watching my fashion show happen, that was a really proud moment for me. I was just as nervous then as I am when when I'm at the beginning of a Grand Prix, which is really crazy. So
it's that thing, isn't it, putting yourself out there into a world that you're not used to being in. We talked about it earlier this season, that when you go out on track, you've got the stopwatch and you're judged against that, but when it's something creative, you're judged against subjectivity.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'm just been so happy and grateful for everyone. If anyone out there has some of the collection, if anyone's made a comment on it, the support's been amazing from across the globe.
It was one of the questions earlier that someone had sent in. Has anybody in the paddock asked you for any of it, any of the other drivers? Because actually we had Esteban Ocon on in Singapore, and he said he really liked it, and he was like, he hasn't given me any yet.
Well, I can't give everyone free stuff. You don't know how much free stuff I've given away already. No one's asked for any of the stuff. I think Daniel would be able to rock it quite well.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's looking great on women. I'm really liking how girls are wearing it. So.
What does that say about Daniel's style?
No. It's
no, I'm joking.
relative to that, but it's cool that it crosses over.
Yeah.
And that was the goal.
Very cool. Christian Mostrales, when you were younger, did you ever want to drive for Ferrari?
When I was younger, I was watching. I was only ever watching Ayrton, so it was all McLaren at the time. I wanted that red and white car. I just loved the MP44. That was the car that's the only car that I saw as a kid, and that was just the one I wanted to drive.
And you got to drive it?
Yeah, I had a model of the Camel car, the John Player car, for example.
All the Senna cars?
Yeah, there were ones that also I wanted to drive. There was never a time where I was like, I want to drive the red car, but I was always a Ferrari fan, for example, in the sense, and I still am today. I always had model cars of a Ferrari, and even today, when I know that I'm going, when I get to go home and I know that I have this beast in the garage, I can't wait to take it out. There's something so special about some of the cars that they make.
Very cool. Favorite historic F1 driver? I think that means like driver from history rather than maybe the drivers that race the historics nowadays. From history. I guess take Ayrton out of the mix.
Fangio.
Fangio.
Yeah, Fangio. Well, if you imagine back in that day, that was just crazy back then. So Sterling Moss is also one of my favorites as well. Being more that I know him and his character and everything, and the stuff he always talks about. Sterling Moss is funny, he talks about Crumpet. I think Crumpet is
it's a great old school way.
It's a great old school meaning. You figure that out yourself. But he would tell me that you want to fall out when you crash. Back then, which is crazy how the mentality was so different. If you shunt, you're like, I want to fall out the car quick, don't want to get trapped in it. As where today we want to be remained in it and safe, cocooned in. So but back then they were just legends and daredevils, and the reason you respect those guys more is just being that it's it was really, really life and death those days. If the wheel fell off, which it could have, you're in the trees or whatever it is, and that's your life over, as well. Today's a lot safer.
And they're both obviously big Mercedes drivers, big in the history of Mercedes. Have you ever got to drive either of their cars? Would you ever want to do the Mille Miglia, which obviously it's more of a historic run now, not so much competition, but in one of their cars, drive that?
Honestly, I think I'm a funny character in the sense of racing. I don't have any desires to be a part of or do any other racing stuff. I work with a lot of engineers, and I've got this one particular Kim who works on the aerodynamics, and she's back at the factory now, but sometimes she's here. She's crazy about cars. We talk about cars like for long periods of time, and she's way more enthusiastic than me about cars and probably any of the guys in my team. And I just don't get excited about going to an event like a car event or a car show. I'd much rather go to a music festival, what's it called, Glastonbury, for example.
Yeah,
I'm way more in those kind of festivals. I don't really want to be around. I've lived
so
and
you'd rather
breathed
go to Glastonbury
racing.
than Goodwood?
Yeah. I don't have any desire, or it doesn't do anything for me to go and watch cars drive around. I would drive a car, but
if you've got the ability then to like get your hands on one of Fangio or Sterling Moss's cars and get behind it, even just for a couple of laps, to feel what they felt back then.
Yeah, I mean, I've driven one of the silver kind of arrows. So I've driven one of Sir Sterling's cars, for example. Amazing. I did it around Monza oval circuit.
I remember.
So I did that with him. So that was awesome. Like I kind of go where I'm told to go, and I didn't realize that I'd be doing that day, and it was honestly fantastic. And I could have driven it more because I was on a track. Now I love motorbikes. People know that I hate testing. I just don't really have no desire to go round and round and round. I don't drive a simulator. Don't like to go round. I'm much more into Call of Duty or something like that.
Very cool. How often do you ride your bikes? That's a question from Paul Marco Tool.
I ride my bikes. I've not been home for a long time, so I have a bike in LA and I have a bike in Monaco. So if I'm home, if I get back from, for example, the last time I got home was Monza. Flew home, got back quite late in the evening, straight down to my garage, got out on the bike and just went around Monaco. And it wasn't really a long ride, but I just like the noise the bike makes, the feel of the air flowing, past your neck and over your body. It's really cool.
Very cool. Right, we have one final question. We've got to let you go after that. There's been some great ones, but I'm going to leave you with this one from Rashmi Malpi. What drew you to the quote, "Still I rise"?
If any of you have read that quote, I think I was brought to it because I had heard it was Nelson Mandela's favorite quote. And they're like, "Have you heard of Nelson Mandela's favorite quote?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. Who's it by?" And I went and read it, and it really struck a chord in my spirit. And I was like, I understand why that is his favorite quote, because it really kind of defines who we are. When some of us really struggle to express really how we are, and a lot of people are afraid of who they are or they might be, or still discovering who they're going to be. But I also really, I'm very much a positive person. I'm always really about trying to lift people up. So if I'm messaging friends, I'm sending you positivity, even if I haven't seen them for ages, because I think that's a great thing to be able to. If I get a message from someone and they're wishing me, I'm like, wow, you made my day, thank you so much. So positivity is such an important part of life, as much as, even though we all sometimes get down and stuff. Today, for example, I didn't get pole position, and actually I get back and I see the little mistake that I've made, and I'm like, you know what, get rid of that, any of that negativity you hold from your personal fault. Shake it off and move forwards. Take the positivity forwards, learn from it, and attack tomorrow and be a better. Tomorrow's another day to be great. And so that's really where Still I Rise and Powerful Beyond Measure is, that I truly believe that I am powerful beyond my imagination. So my journey is to see how powerful I can be and how much I can do in the lifetime that I have.
Leave it at that. Thank you, my man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Best of luck for the rest of the weekend. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
We will let you get on. Thanks, man. Really
Cheers.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers. And thank you, everybody, for your questions as well. And we've got somebody else coming out now as well. So, Lewis, you can get on with your day. Thank you,
this
my
one
man.
should be good.
Yeah, this one's going to be great fun. We'll see you later. Thank you so much. So, folks, keep getting your questions in. Who's next up, guys? Is it who I think it is? It is. It's Danny. Announced this afternoon. He's back in Formula 1. Hello, chap. How are you? You've been doing a lot of interviews this afternoon, haven't you? Have you missed this?
Yes.
You know,
yes.
no, not Formula One. Have you missed the interviews?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
In 3 different languages, in 4.
It's great to have you back. It's great to welcome you back. How was the last year, 11 months since we saw you last in this surroundings? How have they been?
They were, thanks for asking, first of all, they were quite interesting. Obviously, you know, it was missing racing, but at the same time, it was great working with Ferrari, such a legendary team. You know, I'm really thankful to that team to work, and also my role has had some impact directly on the track performance. So it was a pleasure, and yeah, I made a few new friends there as well. So it was good, a good year.
How did that all come about?
You mean Ferrari? Or?
Yeah, with Ferrari, because obviously I remember when Jean-Eric left, he went to Ferrari, and you left and you went to Ferrari as well. It seems that they've got a really good eye for people, you know, that are going to serve them well over that kind of a role.
I think every detail is important, no? And also there, like I said, we've been taking care of trying to help the guys here on the track to choose the right setup, and we've been doing really well. It was enjoyable to know that actually it has impact and helps Sebastian and Kimi and the engineers. So as well, you can see the thing from outside a little bit. It's quite cool, and yeah, I think for me was we just spoke after, you know, my season was over last year, and I liked what we talked about, and let's go. Simple as that, you know. There is no real deal behind it.
So, coming back to Toro Rosso, I heard this afternoon quotes, I think, from Helmut Marko, that he found out Daniel Ricciardo was leaving Red Bull from you, not from Daniel.
Well, I wouldn't say so exactly, but we just was checking how he was doing. Really, I just called to say hi, and you know, was missing the news about him, and that's it. We spoke. Probably a great coincidence at the same time, but no, I wasn't bringing any news to anyone. I just asked how the things were going, and happened to be that other things were happening in the background.
Fantastic. And when did this all start to become real? Has it been very, very fast, or was it over the last few weeks? we
spoke in August a little bit, obviously, when things started taking some movement there in Red Bull, and then around Monza we signed.
Amazing. And how different do you feel now to the guy that you were last year?
Well, I feel different. Obviously, I don't want to put in big words now, like, you know, like wow, everything is completely upside down. You know, honestly talking, what brings you the results is the details. So if you work on details right, if you correct the things that's been holding you back, well, you can be successful. In the end, I got to F1, not first time already, and you just need to trust your instincts and keep working on yourself all the time, and only the next year will show what this work will bring. So I'm really excited and really looking forward to 2019 with Toro Rosso.
Have you missed racing? Getting your elbows out? Because there's sim work and there's race work, and have you missed being in contest?
Of course, you know, I would lie if not. You know, what I love to do is drive Formula One car,
yeah.
And I have some unfinished business here. That's how I feel like, and with Red Bull also. So I'm thankful that we managed to get back together. It's a good story, and I'm really positive about the future.
Good, I like that. Jason McLaren Sultana wants to know, the Ferrari knowledge you've gained is an asset. How much do you think it will help you and the team for 2019?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that technically, obviously, we've just been working on the car performance and nothing else. So technically, I don't know much about the car. We just tried to, my driver knowledge was helping the guys trying to find a bit better setup regarding the problems they had on the track, and for myself as a driver, it was also very useful to see some other things that I probably haven't had time to learn when, you know, when you're coming every year very fast on your career steps. It's sometimes those things can be really eye-opening things.
Are you looking forward to having a Honda engine, says Carl Caulfield? Because you will have had a Renault, Ferrari and the Honda within the space of 3 years, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't remember. Well, you know, partly it's a big project that Red Bull has with Honda, and it's very interesting, I must say. And very competitive people. Red Bull has always been, plus it looks like Honda is also extremely competitive, and putting these things together can be very, very promising. So that's why I'm saying I'm very much looking forward to it, and I still have to get to know what the thing is like, what the things are like, because obviously I haven't been much in touch regarding technical things, but soon I will know more.
Okay. Joe Emery, this is a nice one. Have you got any mantra or a quote that's driven you towards your return? Anything that you sort of, like an inspirational message that's kept you going?
Well, you know, I don't feel like being extremely inspirational right now. It's my first day back in the paddock, so I just want to, like I said before to you, I love driving Formula 1 cars, and I love to be successful. That's why I'm back here.
Brian Kenny, if you could pick anyone, they don't have to be in the Red Bull family, who would you want as your teammate for 2019? I guess they could already be signed somewhere else. You don't have to pick a free agent. Who would you want as your teammate?
I honestly, you know, let's put it this way. I just got back. I just got back myself, thinking about too many things would hurt my brains. So let's go a step at a time. Ask me this question maybe.
Should we give you a week?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Call me.
All right. This is quite a nice one, but it's a bit cruel, Amber. Winterburn, how much do you wish you were in the car this weekend in your home country?
Well, obviously, you know, it's the first Russian Grand Prix I'm missing since I'm in Formula 1. I've been doing all of them, but honestly, I always say what's not done is done for the best. So if I had to miss this one, it's fine. You know, I am fine to have this time off and reflect on other things.
Are you going to go down to your grandstand tomorrow?
I don't know what the plans are.
Have they renamed it Sergey's grandstand, or is it still yours?
It's still mine.
It's still yours.
Yeah,
you should go down tomorrow and just like spend the race with them. They won't expect that.
Yeah, you know, last night I was working on simulator still. Then caught a midnight flight here and just arrived. I still don't know what the plan is like. To be honest, my time schedule, I'm not very aware of it. I would love to know. Yeah.
After a year gap, do you think it will be difficult for you to get back on terms with the cars, given they've been updated so much? That's from Aditya Dar.
Well, you know, cars in F1 they are constantly evolving. Then next year might seem like a small rule change might again have some impact on the car behavior and feeling. So I would say I drove the car this year in Fiorano, the current Ferrari car, which was actually a great experience to drive a Ferrari car. But I felt like I was a bit fearing. It was 6 months away from the car, but I jumped in and like after 2-3 laps it was like as if I've been doing it my whole life, so I'm not particularly worried about that at all.
And I imagine even the sim's got a halo on it, so you're used to driving with the halo.
Well, you can if you want, or you don't have to. It's like it's optional really. But I drove it with halo in Fiorano, and to be honest, and I drove it already sometimes before when it was still coming new.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's gonna be a big issue at all, to be honest.
Okay, final question then. Long term. And it's only your first day back. It's very mean, some of these questions. Red Bull, long-term goal, or is it focus on Toro Rosso and get the best job done possible at Toro Rosso?
Well, you know, you have to look one step at a time. I think one problem is that sometimes when you look too much in the future, you forget to enjoy the present and here right now. So I prefer to now enjoy every moment. Very positive about this opportunity here and being back. So, to be honest, that's what I think. I mean, my deal. I don't want to be speaking about it publicly, but I must say I'm very happy. Before I signed it, I was very happy with how it looked, and obviously, like I said to you, in Formula 1, the only way is to aim to be successful as possible, and that's why I'm here.
And I think from that we can go back to the question earlier about your quote, that if you forget to enjoy the present. If you look too much to the future, you forget to enjoy the present. We looked at that.
Exactly. So
Perfect.
I'm here right now, and I'm quite happy
stuff.
to be here.
Mate, it's great
Thanks.
to have you back. Really delighted for you, and
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see you back in the car next
Cheers.
year, mate. Thank you so much, Daniil Kvyat, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Danny. And now, to finish off today, one more driver for you. It's a triple header. We've never even done a double header one of these, but today you get a triple header. You lucky, lucky people. Sergey Sirotkin is here on the event of his home Grand Prix. Hello, chap. How are you?
Hi.
Come and join us. Man of the moment, I think, after the last few races. Your performances have impressed everybody, I think, up and down the pit lane, particularly in Singapore, because that was a very, very gutsy drive. And more than that, I think your reaction after the race and on Thursday, when you refused to put any blame at Sergio Perez. We got so much feedback on the video that we put up with you going, I've got a lot of respect for Sergey now because he's a proper hard racer. How are you enjoying it?
I think actually that's a key that I'm enjoying it. If I'm doing certain things, I'm doing just because I'm enjoying it. I don't need to be told do this or do that, go to speak with the engineers or go to the gym. If I'm doing this, it's because first of all I want this, and that's been my approach. I mean, honestly, whatever I do in my life, that's how I do it. Either I do it 100%, either I'm not here. So, I mean, that's how I take it, and yeah, I do enjoy what I'm doing from any single point, starting from just driving the car and to whatever of the background work we will have to do.
And I think the other thing, certainly that I've started to notice this year, is every time we've come into a weekend, and I know it's been a hard season and the car's not been where you wanted it to be, but you've always searched for those little elements that have been positive, those little things that have been improving. Is it your engineering background that allows you to find those things? Is it just an inner sort of positivity that allows you to find those things?
No, I wouldn't say it's anything really much to do with the engineering degree. I would say it's more about just approach I want to take, approach I want to consider the things, and I'm part of the team. With obviously the way I behave, it also influences many things. So I know how difficult is the situation we are now, and I have to be strong. I have to remain strong to keep all the people behind me, motivated and keep doing what they're doing so great so far. So,
but that's big. I mean, you're so young, and it's your first year of Formula One. To have that on your shoulders, that responsibility, is a really big thing to take on board.
I honestly don't consider that like. For sure we all know it's responsibility, we all know how much pressure is that and so on, but in the end of the day, it's all depends how you look at the things and how you want to take the things. And I think for sure for me, like the first couple of races, they were a bit stressful, let's say, but then I think like race by race I really found the way to manage the things, way to approach the things, and I think I'm on top of it now. I think, and even I tell you even more that once I found, my read, the way I want to do the things and the way I want to approach the situation where I really found a way to also enjoy it. Enjoy, for sure it's not an easy situation, but it's also a challenge, and I'm enjoying taking more challenge than probably many other drivers faced in their especially rookie season. So it is a fight, and I'm enjoying not to be in easy situation and to get out as a winner.
Right, some questions from fans. Marcin Marks asks, how close were you to racing in Formula One for Sauber back in 2014?
I would say, can't remember like exactly, but for sure it was not in our direct control, let's say. So it was a big hopes, but I honestly, as you all know, I had my career, I was racing World Series GP2, so it wasn't a priority number one, let's call it this way.
You were very young at the time as well. Do you think it would have been too early?
It's we all very suddenly got such a chance, and honestly, I know that even if I wasn't sure it's gonna happen or not, I'm quite sure at the same time that you will never find a guy who is racing in World Series or whatever in higher formulas and he would say no to such an opportunity, despite whatever, whatever, if it's too early or not too early, and how easy it would be. And I mean, believe me, I paid a big price for what happened at that year. So.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Sandra Carlson. Do you look up to any other drivers? Who's your inspiration?
My inspiration. I mean, honestly, I follow many drivers. I mean, I think I do really try to get and really understand what each of the Formula 1 driver does in certain different situations, and really try to to see how I would approach the things in the same conditions, same situations. Again, I never feel nice like to say, okay, this is the guy I like, this is the guy I don't like. I mean, for me it's all about spotting out who is doing better this, who is doing better this, and try to put myself in their position and see how I would behave to them. And then if I'm behaving differently or worse or better, whatever, in certain areas, try to understand why and learn from it.
How about growing up, when you were watching racing? Who did you look up to? Which drivers really sort of inspired you?
I would honestly say, I mean, obviously when I was a kid, it's been Michael Schumacher winning everything. So it's not that nowadays, looking back, he was like he's like my main hero.
Yeah.
But for sure, it's big. Like big memory in your head, because all my childhood it was always about a red car winning the races, so he played a big part in in it. But like nowadays, it's again, I have big respect to many current drivers in F1, for how much they played a role in myself as well.
Charlotte Burke wonders, why are you wearing a body warmer and also shorts?
Body warmer.
Because she's like, you're either hot or you're cold. So
that's a good question. I'm afraid I don't have a...
You didn't think it through.
Well, let me take it off.
No, well, she might. I don't know, mate. Keep it on just for now.
Put the jeans next time.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Better
Honestly, there you go. This is the quality of questions that you get when you ask for people on Facebook. Are you superstitious?
Yes and no. I mean, for sure, I see sometimes that somehow some things works better if I do it in this way. Some things not, but.
Do you like get in from the same side of the car every time, or
yeah, I
the
do.
same pants?
I do, but I purely think because it's easier for me to jump in the car from the left, not because I honestly believe if I do it from
the right
wrong
is
side,
be
it will be unlucky. I mean, same. I always put my left glove first, just because it's something to do with the the monitor, the heart rate monitor we have in the glove, and it's
okay.
just. I mean, it's for me just easier, and I do this every single practice since my first, time I had it on in the beginning of the year. So just the way it's easier for me, and that's the way I do it. It's not because I'm, strongly trust that if I do it differently, it's not luck.
Cool. Final question then. It's your home race tomorrow, your first, and hopefully not your last. But
Yeah.
the Russian national anthem is such a powerful national anthem, even for those of us that aren't Russian. What's it going to feel like, do you think, being on that grid tomorrow with that incredible anthem playing and sort of stirring your soul? How's it going to feel, man?
It's honestly, I think it's massive boost before the race. I mean, for sure. I mean, it's easy for me now to say it will be mega, it will be this and that, but I think I just need to get there and feel it myself, because I'm really sure it will be very special, and I'm looking very racy, looking ahead for tomorrow. And I mean, I think with all the fans, all the support I'm getting, I have a really good feeling that we can make a very good race tomorrow.
And it's support that's not just coming from Russia, it's coming from around the world. We see it on the videos that we post all the time. The number of positive comments about you are just rising and rising and rising. And although I know the results sometimes don't show it, there's a massive feeling in this paddock. You're doing an incredible job this year. So keep up the amazing work, mate. Thank you for taking time out. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for your questions. For Sergey, for Daniil, and for Lewis. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy your home race tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
And yes, guys, you can go and put some jeans on. And yeah, folks, thank you so much for joining us here in Sochi. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend and enjoy the Russian Grand Prix.